it was September, I come back from New York, it was September, and my show was in November, and I didn't know what I was gonna do. It was really like, you know, blocked. And the date was approaching, and eventually Willem said, yo, why don't you just like do something with your name, with your tags, and you know, you expose that. So I went inside my studio, I brought some ink and some cardboards, and I just wrote my name like that, really brute. I was thinking about, you know, panels, you know, like in New York, like people paint on panels, doing something really dirty and something that looked like it came, like you had ripped it off from the streets. And I put it in frames, you know, to close it out and make it look more art. And it worked, people loved it. And not only that, but it opened me up to a whole different possibility of working with just my name, with calligraphy. And I'm really happy about this series right here. Yeah, this is one of the few collaborations I've ever done in my life. You know, I'm paintings with another artist, is my good friend Sharp, that we did it together in 2006. And it was like really difficult because he has more of a lettering style, whereas I had some sort of like, you know, that other series of mine, which was like sort of floating. But it worked good together. Yeah, different type of color schemes, I had different type of coloring, and it was a long-awaited collaboration because we had been working studios side by side for many years, but we never went to that step of working on the same canvases. And it really, it's really one of the rare times that I've ever done it. It was very, very hard for I think either of us to have done it, but because my style is basically abstract, but it worked good together, I think. And I hope that one day we can eventually do some more things together, you know, some more collaborations. We are in 2007, and what few people know, there's very few, let's say, street artists that really do a lot of work on paper. Maybe there's Crash that likes to work on paper, but a lot of street artists, they like to just go directly into canvas work. Whereas I love paper, you know, I love working on paper because it makes me work with a lot of different types of mediums, which is watercolors and oil sticks and pastels and pencils, and it makes me feel like I'm a kid again. And this whole series right here was all about scribble scrabble. You know, because people always say, when we talk about graffiti, and they always say, yes, that scribble scrabble shit, it's that, you know, it's that, like kids can do it. So basically, I took that idea, that's why you see all that little scribble scrabble, but I made it into art, you know, I made it into some sort of language. The way that this is layered and the way that colors come out, it's really, patience is involved. You know, some people may not associate this with my other work, but to me this is like the whole element of what I'm all about graffiti, and about bending letters and going from an A going into another letter, into a Z, and architecture, you know, architecture and swiftness, and it's a little bit influenced by dance also, because I'm very much influenced by dance, so that's why you see a lot of it is moving in like that, and it's very, to me, and I follow also a color scheme to give out a different vibe, so I'm proud of this, you know. Here in Switzerland, they have a big museum and collection of art groups, you know. So I wanted to get that aspect when me and Willem talked about doing a show here. about that whole art group. And since graffiti sometimes, a lot of times it's been, you know, on the streets and it's very, you know, raw and stuff. Like I wanted to get that rawness into my art, but do it with a flashback of what it could have looked like when it was when it was in the 80s, you know. And this particular series I love a lot because it was a series that I have a lot of memories of doing, you know, believe it or not. Because as an artist, you're always confronted to different situations and different mood swings. So this series right now, this is when, you know, I got that phone call. You know, I live here in Paris, and I have my parents in New York, you know. And this series was the one that I got that phone call telling me that my father had died, you know. So usually when, you know, I always had been preparing this in my head for many years. How would I react when I got that phone call? So instead of like, you know, like I thought I was going to break down and cry and become like little pieces of sand or, you know, whatever, I decided to keep on painting. So this is like me after I had gotten a phone call and I'm still painting because I think that's the way I'm able always to go through things. So this is what I love this series. Just like a close-up. I just wanted to put a close-up of a letter, you know, of like the end of a J or the beginning of a O or the end of an N, and so this represents a microorganism or micro of a movement that I practice. And I love this series, and it was only because of Willem, because he sort of like encouraged me to do something very simple, to sort of follow up on what I had done before with Black Diamonds, that I had done a discipline like this, and I love it. And I hope to continue to do things like this in the future. La évolution, parce que tout le monde dit c'est toujours pareil, c'est toujours la même chose, etc. Mais si tu comprends bien que c'est pas toujours la même chose, il y a une évolution, et c'est seulement avec les pratiques que tu arrives à évoluer avec ton style. So, pour moi, ça représente, cette toile-là en particulier, ça représente une maîtrise des compositions, des lignes, des idées. Comment je arrivais à maturer des idées, qu'est-ce que j'ai commencé avec Willem jusqu'à ici à 2008. Et j'espère pas arrêter, j'espère que je peux continuer, avoir la possibilité de continuer à m'exprimer avec une écriture par ce moment.
All my internet fans, internet land who are in front of computers, who are not watching TV no more but are watching me. Reality TV is coming to you. I'm John One, the most hardcore living graffiti writer in this planet right now. I spit paint, I piss paint, I shit paint. I'm the Floyd Mayweather of graffiti.